Started. Welcome everyone to the 106th meeting of Toastmasters Club of Storytellers. It is said that there isn't anyone you couldn't love once you've heard their story. And at Toastmasters Club of Storytellers, we are here to get you to share your story. We do that by following the Toastmasters Club mission. Before we get to that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Mohit Sahani, and I'm the club sergeant at arms. My main role is to maintain order in all our club meetings. Coming to the Toastmasters Club mission, it is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every individual member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills. This in turn helps foster self confidence and personal growth. I would like to, for all of you to take a moment and register yourselves with the club if you haven't already. And for that, I would share this link on the chat box. Please click on this link and you will see a subscribe button. Just put your email there and subscribe to our website. Some of you have already done that, in which case I would still request you to click on this link and browse through the website. There's a latest article by Toastmaster Deeptendu, which is titled How to Mine for a Speech Topic. Also, once you've subscribed, scroll down to the bottom of this page where you will see our social media icons. Facebook, when you click on it, you can like us on Facebook. Similarly, we have Instagram. And for guest Pooja, if you can click on the WhatsApp link that you see at the bottom of this page.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, great. So once you click on that, you will automatically join us on our WhatsApp group, which means that you will stay connected with us. You can share, comment, and basically become a part of our story.
I've joined the group.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Pooja. And similarly, we've got YouTube and LinkedIn links as well. All of us can register there. Thank you for taking out the time to do that. Now, the meeting is going to start soon. But before we get started with the meeting, I would like to share some basic ground rules that we follow for this meeting. Okay, I'll just wait for a new joiner before I share the ground rules. I see Prakash is joining us. I'm also happy to share while we are waiting for Prakash to join in that our website last night crossed 1,000 views, which is a great achievement and milestone for all of us. So let's clap for all of us. This has been made possible with everybody's contributions, articles, and all the things that we do here at the Toastmasters meeting, which creates the content for us, which we share with everyone. So congratulations, everyone. And we've got Prakash as well. Welcome, Prakash, to our meeting. Hi, Prakash. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, hello. I'm Mohit.
Welcome, Prakash. Would you like to share how you got to know about this meeting?
Actually, I was looking for something like to meet people around. So someone suggested me this app. So from there, I joined your group.
That's great, Prakash. Welcome again. This is our 106th meeting. We are called the Toastmasters Club of Storytellers. And you will see a link on the chat box where we would like for you to register, take a moment, enter your email address, and stay connected with us. I just put it for you. So coming back to the meeting, which is about to start, there are certain ground rules that we'll follow in the meeting. The first one being that even though there is no guideline which stops us from talking about sex, religion, or politics, but these are sensitive topics and therefore we must handle them very delicately. Secondly, There is also no guideline that says that we have to be on mute all the time. In fact, I would encourage all of you to stay unmuted and be a part of the meeting as much as possible. Also, try and keep your video on as much as possible. This will ensure that we are all participating and we are all engaged in the meeting, and that's how we'll all learn the most. But having said that, it's important for us to maintain decorum throughout the meeting. Third, Toastmasters are known to applaud a lot and smile a lot. So today, do as much as you can. And let's do a little test. I would like all of you to unmute yourselves and let's see how we clap. Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you. With that, I would like to invite our president for her opening address. Toastmaster Mehak Kapoor, as some of us already know, is a BCom honors student at Delhi University. We already know that she enjoys various forms of art, but recently she has begun monetizing her artwork through Fiverr. That's probably something that we didn't know. And in doing that, she has demonstrated how she can combine what she's learning at college, which is commerce, with what she loves to do, which is art. Congratulations, Mehak, and let's once again unmute ourselves and join our hands together to welcome our president, Toastmaster, Mehak Kapoor.
Thank you so much, Sergeant Kakams, for such a warm welcome. Greetings, dear Toastmasters and my dear guests. I welcome you all to the 106th story of Toastmasters Club of Storytellers. Well, to begin with, I would like to ask a question from all of you. Who has been a fan of Shark Tank? Well, okay, I see many hands. For those who know what Shark Tank is, and for those who don't know, I would like to tell that Shark Tank is a show that has been recently started on Sony TV, which gives the insight of how you have to pitch your marketing or your idea, your business idea, your startup idea towards the investors. So that's how the show goes on, and the people will invest in your business if they find it valuable enough. But how that business is valuable enough is being described. Well, every time when they pitch their marketing idea, they tell a story about it, how it has been formed. And from there, I recently witnessed that storytelling has been given such a hype in the market today. Well, so I would like to ask another question. Do you all know what are the 4 P's of marketing? Anyone who would like to name? I would like a name from each one of you. Can you name 4 P's of marketing? Okay, I see Toastmaster Mohit raising his hand. Please go ahead. Name anyone. Yes, product is one of them. Absolutely correct. Second one.
Presentation.
Okay, but it can be, we can indulge in that one, but it's not the prescribed P of the marketing. Okay, I see Toastmaster Mohit raising his hand once again. Yes, go ahead. Yes, it is. Anyone else?
Let Mohit only speak the other 2 then.
Yes.
I
Sure,
don't
go
know.
ahead.
I'm guessing.
Yes. Okay, so let me give you all the 4 P's of marketing. The first one is product, price, place, and promotion. Well, these are the 4 P's of marketing, and how you can dwell these P's, 4 P's, same in the storytelling. Well, the first one is people. How many people are there in your story? Who are they and what are they doing? People or the characters in your story. The second one is the place. It is just the same replica of what we have in the marketing. Place, where your story is being described of, where it is present, where it is set. That's the place. The third one, that is plot. What is the plot of the story? What is the genre of the story, where it has been described, and what is the message that you are going to give to your audience? And the fourth one is the purpose. Purpose is drawing basically the conclusion from that story. So according to this, if your story has all these 4 characteristics, all these 4 P's of storytelling, your story is being formulated a best one. So whenever you're pitching your business idea or you're going for an interview, always strive for adding a personal story, a personal touch to it. Adding these 4 P's: people, place, plot, and purpose. In this, short story can also be quick and a long one as well. So try on using this method, and that's the storytelling tip for today's making. Try on using this in the table topic session as well. With this, I would like to first of all welcome the guests on stage to introduce themselves. I would first like to invite potential Toastmaster Pooja to give a short introduction about herself. You're on mute.
Hello, everyone. I'm Pooja, and I was brought up here in Delhi. I was doing my chartered accountancy, but I was on health break from last 2 years. Now I was thinking of joining for a job. This is why I thought of enhancing my interviewing skills. That is why I joined Toastmasters. That's it from my side.
Thank you so much, Pooja, for joining in today. I hope it's beneficial for you for your interviews as well. Next, I would like to call upon stage potential Toastmaster Prakash to please introduce himself to the members. I think his screen has gone black. Prakash, are you there? Okay, I think he's facing some network issues. So, okay, so moving on, we are done with the guest introduction. So, with this, I would like to welcome on stage, now coming upon to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Deepti Sani, for her theme, How to Think Better.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mehek, for calling me on the virtual podium, and I'm eager to start my topic today, not only because it is a topic that everybody can relate to, but also because I personally wanted to waste my time, energy, and focus in this topic, which is how to think better. Okay, let me ask around. Does anybody know how many thoughts can a human mind think in a single day? Anybody, take a wild guess.
I think a number under millions.
Okay, I'll take that for an answer. Millions. Anybody else? Any other random number? Just give it out to me.
70,000.
Okay. Okay, 70,000 is the second option. Anybody else wants to give a random number? I'll take a third one. My question, Ankan, is how many thoughts does a human mind think in a day? Okay,
I think it's millions.
okay. Okay. So let's
123.
123 thoughts.
Yeah.
That number is precise.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Uncountable.
Uncountable thoughts. Well, we have a variety of options here. We have millions, we have as high as millions and as low as 123 thoughts. Well, the answer is close to 60,000 thoughts in a day. Now, yes, Mohit can raise his hand and be happy about his estimate being closest to the correct. Right. Now, the point is, if we think around 60,000 thoughts in a day, why do you think it is important? Do you think all of that consciously, or do you think it just happens to you?
It's natural, spontaneous.
Right. A lot of them are natural and spontaneous, but they are focused. Why do you think you think? Was
Figure out the priorities, to figure out what is to do.
yes, that's right. What is to do? That means you think to decide, you think to take an action, right? And do you think in our past years, we all have lived at least 20 years of our life, right? Nobody is younger than 20 here. Have you ever been formally taught how to think? Yes or no? You can shake your hand or nod your head if you think it's yes.
Yes and no.
Okay, why do you say yes and no, Toastmaster Lokesh?
Some of it comes naturally as a trait of the nature, and some of them is prepared by way of education.
Okay, I take that. So I think I agree in what Toastmaster Lokesh said, that some of the thought processes are taught to us by way of life. They become our life skills. But as we grow, we put deliberate thought into it so that we can make decisions. Now, in the next 1 to 2 hours today, I'm going to walk you through 4 ways in which human mind thinks or tends to think. Now, the 4 ways that I'm going to talk about, I'm sure each of you will relate to it. Okay? I will not say that they will help you suddenly think better and you'll have clarity and you'll be able to make decisions like this. But those 4 ways will for sure help you be conscious and be aware of when you're thinking and how you're thinking. Okay? So let's move on with the meeting. I'll explain the structure and then we'll cover the 4 ways, okay, as we progress. Now, for the benefit of guests and new members, the structure of the meeting is divided into 3 parts. The first part is about prepared speeches. So we have 2 speakers today, and both the speakers have previously prepared their speeches, which are between 5 to 7 minutes. And those speeches are as a result of the Toastmasters educational pathway that they have selected. We will have evaluators who will evaluate their speeches and provide their feedback. So that's the first section, the prepared speeches. The second section is the impromptu speaking topic section, which we call as the table topics section. So we have a table topic master. You can see TTM Mehak. She will conduct that section where she will give us random topics to speak on. We can volunteer. Guests are more than welcome to pick up a topic, speak on it for 1 to 2 minutes. The timing details will be shared. And the third section is very sacred to Toastmasters. It is the evaluation section. In the evaluation section, the general evaluator brings on his team of evaluators and gives us a detailed evaluation report for every speaker on the stage today. Let me not delve into more details and instead invite our general evaluator for today, Toastmaster Diptendu, to come on the virtual podium and introduce us to his role and his team.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, in an organization, say there is a team which is producing car. Now, the car cannot be produced by one person or 10 people or 10 people doing the same job. It is a team effort. It is a collective effort. There is the manufacturing line, there is research and development, there is the packaging department, then of course there is the sales department and the retail department. We go to retail stores and buy a car. It is a team effort because of which, say, a Maruti Ciaz is being sold in hundreds of thousands of numbers all across the country. Similarly, here at Toastmasters, there is a team of evaluators who make this experience worthwhile for you, who make the Toastmasters experience worthwhile for you. Why are you here? You are here to learn, maybe improve upon your communication skills, work on your leadership skills. Well, how will you do it if there is no one to tell you what you did well and where you can improve? That is where the general evaluator comes in the picture. I, as the general evaluator, will observe the meeting from start to finish. Observe the meeting in totality, observe each and every role player and speaker who takes the virtual stage today, and try to come up with insights which might help you improve in your journey as a Toastmaster. I won't be doing the task alone, and I have a team of supplementary role players, the timer, the hour counter, and a grammarian. So let us welcome each of the supplementary role players and listen a little bit more about their role. First of all, I'd like to invite Toastmaster Mohit on the virtual stage as he is the timer for today's meeting.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Diptendu. Okay, I'm someone who never stops. Who am I? Time. I'm someone who's the most valuable resource. Who am I?
Time.
Time. Exactly. And I am the one who's going to keep track of time. It's going to be a hard thing to do, but I'm going to do that in the meeting today. My role as timer is to monitor the time during the prepared speeches, the table topics, as well as the evaluations. For the prepared speeches, generally the time limit is 5 to 7 minutes. So I will be showing a green indication at 5 minutes, a yellow indication at 6 minutes, and a red indication at 7 minutes, which is basically to tell the speaker to bring the speech to a close. And for table topics, the time allotted is 1 to 2 minutes, and I'll be showing a green indication at first minute, a yellow indication at 1 minute and 30 seconds, and a red indication at 2 minutes. For evaluations, the time allotted is 2 to 3 minutes. So I'll be showing an indication for 2 minutes with a green signal, for 2.5 minutes with a yellow signal, and for 3 minutes, I'll be showing the red signal. For the prepared speeches, there is a 30 seconds of buffer on either sides. For table topics, you have to speak for a minimum of 1 minute, but there's a 30 seconds of buffer on the upper side. And for evaluations, there's a 30 seconds buffer on either sides. At the end of the meeting, I'll be presenting my report on how we did today in terms of time. Back to you, General Evaluator of the Day, Toastmaster Diptendu.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohit. We also have a grammarian with us, and today the grammarian's role is being played by Toastmaster Lavina. Lavina, I welcome you on the virtual stage and request you to explain the role.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dipendu. And so today I would be playing the role of a grammarian. As a grammarian, I would be sharing the word of the day, and also would be looking closely to each and every speaker throughout the meeting. I would be pointing out the bad usages and the good usages towards the end of towards the evaluation section. So for today's meeting, the word of the day is ecocide, which means the detrimental, as in intentionally harming the environment, the seas, the land, or something that causes air pollution. The usage could be chronic ecocide over decades has led to climate change. That would be the word of the day. And yeah, so when the general evaluator would call me, I would share my report on the good and the bad usages over the call. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lavina. And we human beings are committing ecocide on a daily basis. It is something that we shouldn't do because we are nothing in front of the force of Mother Nature. So continue doing ecocide at your own peril. And we also have an R counter amidst us, and that R counter is none other than the general evaluator Toastmaster Diptendu. So as the R counter for today's meeting, I would be observing anything that breaks the fluency of your speech. Typically, the fluency of a speech is broken due to crutch words and crutch phrases. Words like these are crutch words which we use when our train of thoughts is broken or we don't know what to speak next. Or at times we tend to use crutch phrases like, you know, I mean, and many more like these. So if you are using crutch words and crutch phrases such that it is taking away from your wonderful speech, then I will try to note it down and share it with you in my countest report at the end of the meeting. So this is me as the general evaluator and the tag role players, the timer, counter, and grammarian. And I really hope that all of you speak something or something in today's meeting and take something away from this wonderful meeting of ours. Back to TMOD Deepthi.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Diptendu, for introducing us to your role and your tag team. So before I start talking about the 4 ways of how a human mind tends to think, I thought let me take a minute to talk about what Toastmaster Lokesh said. The fact is that we think some thoughts unconsciously, right? They are built into our system, and some we think deliberately. Now, let me touch upon how or when or where do you think we learn unconscious decision making, or the ability, or the how do we develop the skill to develop unconscious thinking? Do you think we develop it right at the school time, or maybe later in life? Okay, let me start by asking a question. How many of us remember, or how many of us have studied social sciences in school? Everybody, right? Okay. What subjects did we study in social sciences? History,
Civics and
right?
geography.
Civics and geography. Now, what was primarily the content of history, civics, geography? Was it facts? Was it concepts? What was it?
Situations, facts.
Correct, right? Now, how many of you remember facts from that time?
Some of them.
Some of them. You'll remember facts, if you realize, you'll remember facts if your teachers have taught you how to think the impact of those facts, or probably why did that fact had to occur. As in, let's say the fact is there was revolt of 1857, right? Now, you know it for a fact, but you will remember it only if the teacher had woven a story around it, isn't it? And what is the importance of weaving a story? The importance is to make you think. Why did it happen? Where did it happen? What if it did not happen? So those are the thinking abilities that were unconsciously our teachers were trying to help us develop. Critical thinking is what was being developed at that age. Now that is all unconscious thinking. Come to your daily life. Do you remember going out for parties, birthday parties? Do you remember choosing the dress that you wanted to wear, or the gift that you wanted to give? Did you think about it? Right? So those thoughts, that is how the programming started in our brains. Right? Okay. I think let me bring it closer home to the Toastmasters meeting. Lavina, how did you think of choosing the grammarian role this time?
So I think that makes me interested, and that makes me very keen during the call, because I'm very keenly listening to everyone. So I think it is as in a decision, internal decision that happens. So I think, how do I make sure that a lot of things are happening in the house?
Right.
So that's
right.
why, yeah.
So while you call it an internal decision, I would read it as a deliberate, thoughtful decision. Okay, and you probably quickly weighed the pros and cons of picking up a grammarian role versus the T mod role, or maybe a GE role, right? So you did some thinking, but it is so much programmed into your system that you thought it was just a quick impulse, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is, when we are thinking, we are actually looking at models or techniques like weighing advantages or disadvantages or pros and cons, right? So those are the kinds of things we do. Now, let me get to the point where we're talking about how the human mind thinks, okay? The first, okay, when I asked Lavina about what was thought, no, let me take a more common example. Okay, let me ask probably Pooja, what color do you like?
I maybe like white.
Okay, so right now, when you make a decision and you speak out something, okay, your okay, so your thoughts, the decisions that you make, right, could be logical, it could be emotional, it could be based on your experiences, or maybe just gut and impulsive, right? And what if you're tempted to think, so here I asked an open-ended question: what color do you like? What if I asked, do you write red or green? Okay, so what I'm trying to do, if I'm asking you if you like, I'm giving you limited choices, it basically means I'm narrowing down your thought process. I'm restricting it to 2 colors. And when I give you an option like that, I am putting the spotlight on a limited number of options. I'm removing the spotlight from anything else that could be available to you. For example, white, black, blue, right? So what happens is human mind tends to narrow down their thought process. Typically, what happens is we are actually tempted to think things like which new car should I buy? Okay, so the spotlight is on the new car that I want to buy. Okay, whereas, and if I have money to spend, I'm actually spotlighting my new car. Okay, whereas I can use that money for other options also, but I haven't thought about it. Okay, so the first way in how a human mind thinks is by narrowing down their options inherently, unconsciously. We never look at what's happening on the other side, or we stop thinking about the alternate options. Maybe the spare money that I have, and I actually don't need a new car. Maybe I can use that money to go ahead on a trip and take my family along. Okay, so this is how we stop ourselves from thinking away from other options. Okay, now the other or the
Mehak is going to deliver a speech of presentation mastery pathways, level 3, project 2, connect with storytelling. The purpose of this speech or this project is for the member to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. Thank you so much, and back to Toastmaster Dipti.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lokesh. Toastmaster Mehak, let's do a audio video check. Yeah, please.
Sorry, the time is 5 to 7 minutes.
Timer, please note 5 to 7 minutes. Mehak, you can say it's a good day today.
It's a good day today.
Right, so I confirm the audio video for Mehak. With that, Toastmaster Mehak, just a second. Toastmaster Mehak, a sunset like oranges and flames like tears. Sunset like oranges and flames like tears. Toastmaster Mehak.
Help! 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 I gasped for breath. Just when I heard them say, "Ma'am, we are on our way." People gathered outside our house. It was the beginning of a terrifying night because my house was on fire. Greetings, dear storytellers, my fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. How many of you have been trapped in a situation of fire? Or rather, let me put it correct. How many of you have been trapped in a situation of fire with so many emotional fools? Oops, I shouldn't be saying this to my family. Being among the 10% of the population, I certainly am the privileged one who has got this opportunity. Do you want to experience my pain? So picture this. It's 12:30 at night. My sisters and I were having the best night out. Sam was listening to music. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3. Sai was playing games on her iPad and I was watching reels. We were even planning to watch a movie tonight. Wow, how exciting all this sounds. But our excitement didn't last much. As suddenly, there was a knock at the door. One of our neighbors came rushing downstairs, and what he said came as a shock to all of us. "Fire! Fire! Fire! Call the ambulance!" My mom, "Ambulance?" "Oh, mom, he's saying fire ambulance." From the background, I could hear my grandmother saying, "Ki ho gaya? Ki ho gaya? Kethe lagi aag? What happened? What happened? Where is the fire?" She quickly moved to the balcony to see what was happening. Till the time she went out, we decided to quickly evacuate the building from the other end. We called her in. She froze there, thinking of what her next step should be. Whether to jump off the building or to use the washroom. But thank God, she made the right decision. We quickly gathered in the washing area. My father, being the macho man, thought of jumping off the building. And we, the cheerleaders of his life, were totally not cheering him up for his this decision. And finally, God appeared in front of us in the form of Pittu and Bappu, our neighbors, with a ladder in one hand. And with the help of that ladder, we quickly and safely landed in the open ground. Except my mother and grandmother. They were still hanging upstairs. I still don't know what kind of smoky party they were having together. Meanwhile, my youngest sister started crying. "Come on, Sam, we have had enough drama tonight." "Minnie, I want to go up again to mom." "What?" Period. Well, soon all the members were evacuated safely. Fire brigade, as usual, was late. But at the end, emotions saved the day for us. That night, I realized that life is not a bed of roses, nor is it a bed of thorns. Because how can life end with just one kind of emotion when it includes a roller coaster of emotions? In that 1 hour, we experienced thousands of emotions altogether, be it the fear of losing everything, the joy of being alive, the confusion, the pain, the horror, the suffering, the anxiety, the grief, and the list goes on and on and on. At that time, our dearest hope was to lose all the hope. The smell of that fire is something I will never forget. It was not the cozy smell of bonfire, but the smell of wall plaster and the household appliances melting. The toxic cloud of our life disintegrating. Nothing in life had prepared me for what all happened. Yet, the fight or the flight instance took over. At the end of the day, I realized that I never loved myself and the people in my life as much as I loved after the fire. Therefore, I will own much less stuff in my new life and will continue to feel like love is the most important thing. It is easy to get lost in the chaos of the crisis, but this is actually your time to think about yourself and what do you need for healing. In times like these, it can be hard not to focus on anything and everything that's going wrong. But that's your time to take care of yourself, even though there are so many other worries occupying our mind. At that day, one thing that remained constant was to live the life. At that day, I risked hope and was to lose all the hope. In the end, it was the emotion of hope that I was able to see the rising sun with my family alive. I am powerful enough and I can face all the miseries of this world as long as I am powerful enough. Storyteller of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mehak, for that goosebump raising experience, for sharing that with us today. And you just made my job a little easier as the Toastmaster, and because I now come to the second way in which we tend to think. You talked about emotion of hope. So emotion of hope saved the day for you, but a lot of times it's the emotions that cloud our way into thinking clearly. We tend to, there are moments of pressure that we feel. That is when emotions cloud us. They stop us from thinking clearly. We get into memories of the past. We get into intuitions, our guts, and let emotions play with us. I wonder, and I want everybody to probably stop for a moment and think, what if in Toastmaster Mehak's speech or incident that she shared, if emotions took power, emotions of grief, emotions of fear of losing life, what could have happened then? The quick thinking of people like her neighbors who brought out the staircase for them to get down without getting emotionally involved into it played its part. So yes, the second way in which typical humans tend to think is getting into emotional pressure, whereas we should all try and be emotionally agile. Let the emotions be on one side and think clearly and logically. With that, we'll move on to our second speaker for today. And I'd also encourage the others to please share your feedback through chat for Mehak. Whatever you liked, maybe one thing you liked, and one thing if you feel like suggesting where she can improve upon in her storytelling. The second speaker for today is Toastmaster Lokesh. And Toastmaster Lokesh's evaluator is Toastmaster Mohit. I would like to invite Toastmaster Mohit on the virtual podium to please share the speech objectives.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepti. So Toastmaster Lokesh is going to deliver his first project from level 3 of the presentation mastery pathway. The purpose of this project is for the member to understand the types of persuasive speeches and deliver a persuasive speech at the club meeting. The time for this speech is 5 to 7 minutes. And I would like to highlight that the title that Lokesh has chosen is I Don't Have Time. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mohit. Toastmaster Lokesh, let's do a quick audio video check. You can say it's a wonderful day today.
It's a wonderful day today.
Right, it's all clear, I think. All right. Toastmaster Lokesh, I don't have time. I don't have time, Toastmaster Lokesh.
Hello? Mom, I told you I don't have time. I know you called me yesterday also, but really I'm stressed out. Let me give you a call back. I need to call her. Hello? Yeah. You told me to call a few people and work for the environment. Yes, I do agree that you made me a volunteer, and I also had to call some people. Definitely, I want to do it. I just don't get the time to do it. Let me think, and maybe can you call me back in 2 days? Thank you. These are two simple examples of a daily life you may or anyone might have done so far. In fact, I have done it a couple of times. I don't have time. I didn't get the time. I am busy or I was busy. These are very simple phrases. And today in my speech, I'm going to persuade you why not to say these words. Instead, use certain other words which can actually relate to the issue, to the problem, to the point which you want to make, instead of making the other person feel guilty, feel low, feel deprived, especially when they are very close family and friends. To the audience, I would urge you to think of this situation and tell me who all say this among the community, among the friends. For example, sometimes the marketing people will say, oh, most of my clients say, oh, I didn't get time to find out. So from the audience, any other thing, any other person you can think of when they're saying these phrases, I don't have time?
Our managers.
Sorry?
Our managers, our bosses.
Our bosses, yes. Anybody else?
One of my friends has been saying it for last 10 years. He hasn't found the time to meet me.
Exactly. Friends, let me pull you up. Kids, our own kids.
Sometimes we to our kids.
Even, and we to the kids. We among ourselves as spouses. Right? And you are already well covered. Managers, bosses, friends, even professionals. People who have to serve us, where we are clients. Or most difficult would be where you have to do some volunteer work, where you need to give back without any expectation. These are primarily the excuses. And as Toastmaster Deepti had the right subject today, thoughts. It is way deep down in the thoughts which actually create these phrases with us. And as Toastmaster Mohit said, time is the most important factor in our life, which never changes. And that's exactly, we feel a challenge with time. And these phrases come out of our mind as a perception of what we think. It is not the actuality. I will again come back to audiences and give you a very simple question. What is the difference between an excuse and a reason? Anybody?
Excuse doesn't have a strong basis.
Yes. Anybody else?
Reason is well thought of.
Quite close. In my perception.
Made story.
Sorry? Okay. In my perception, the timing of your statement defines whether it's an excuse or it's a reason, along with the exact words which you mentioned. I'll come to that again, and I'll close this with the answer better elaborated. There are a couple of traits also where we ourselves do such thing to our own, like when you want to pursue hobbies and you are not able to do it, what do you say to yourself? or to your spouse. I didn't get time. I don't have time. For example, reading books. I'm sure at least 50% of us in this audience or more would love to read books. But our mental block says, I don't have time. Sometimes health measures, our fitness. We are obese, we have overweight problems, we have eating problems, but we tend to get away from there by saying, oh, I don't have time for gym. I don't have time for meditation. Even the ecocide which we are doing right now, the climatic disaster which we are doing in every day, we feel that we don't have time to do the right thing. So let us do what we can do, even though we know that it's a very, very bad thing to do. We simply get away with telling ourselves, I don't have time to do all this. Let it happen like this, and then we'll see how it happens. So it's more of a perception, not actuality. And when I say perception and actuality, it is the priority, which is the right phrase, the right word, which is defining where are you putting your time. And that's exactly what Toastmaster Deepti was subject is today. Your thoughts. What is my priority right now? That defines where you're giving your time. And when you prioritize something like this, you're doing what you feel is important. The other things will get deprived of your time. However, in actually it is that you didn't get time to do this, but that was because your priority was not there. For example, in my first call to mom, I don't feel calling her because I am not able to relate or something, a feeling or a bondage is missing. Or when you are calling for a volunteer work, they could not identify my why clearly, why I should do it. If they would have embedded this thought in my first call that why it is important for me to work for stray animals, why it is important for me to donate for poor kids, I would have done it in simple facts. So it's more of a perception, it's more of a priority. Now, how do you remove this? You remove this by one simple thought, which is called FOMO, fear of missing out. If you feel guilty that, yes, I should have called my mom, think about what will happen in a couple of years when mom is no more. Will I get time? Can I find my mom at that time? No. And definitely, I'm sure you will change your perception. You'll find time to call her. You will find time to meet her once a week or once a month, depending upon your location. Or again, for the simple reason of somebody made a call and you attended that call, you made an effort to volunteer or donate something. That means there is something in you which is prompting you to do that task. Come out with that thought. Okay, why did I want to donate? Why do I devote my time? And if I don't do it, will I feel happy? No. Okay, let's do it. So these are certain things which you should do. The last thing which I will mention is remove these phrases from your life. You can say, I was occupied in some other work that needed my attention. There were certain other priorities to attend to, or I could not prioritize that one. That is something what Toastmaster Mohit's friend want to say. Mohit, I do not have the priority to meet. That's exactly what he meant. He doesn't feel important. In conclusion, I would say that was something which I have been doing in my life. When I failed in business, I could see that where did I went wrong. The time was one of the most important things, and I started following this FOMO effect to get ahead. Thank you so much. Back to Toastmaster Deepti.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lokesh, for taking us through another journey and giving us insights into how can we better prepare ourselves. So thank you. Let us come back to the ways in which human mind thinks. So we've covered two ways until now. One is that human mind typically tends to narrow the frame of thought, right? Whether we should buy this or that, whether we should wear red or green, instead of looking at the alternate options. The second way in which we think typically is getting under pressure, right? We tend to cloud ourselves with emotions of the past, with emotions of intuition, and having doubts, personal doubts. So those are the two ways in which we tend to think. The third way we tend to think is when we take decisions, okay, whether they're impulsive or emotional, we tend to support them with our own beliefs. For example, a couple of years back, I remember I'd read an advertisement on the cigarette packets which said smoking causes slow death. Now, smokers, no specific offense, but smokers started saying that who wants to die fast anyways? Until the makers changed that line to smoking is injurious to health, isn't it? Now, in fact, I also remember that I bought this piece of a pair of jeans from the Levi's store the other day, and the salesman sold it to me, sold a size smaller to me, giving me all that jargon that, it's a stretch material, you look good, you look slimmer. And I happily bought it. Why? Because it was one size smaller than the one that I usually buy. When I came home, I tried wearing those jeans. And the question that I asked my family was if I was looking fat in it. Now, I had made my decision to buy it, right? What was I looking for now when I asked that question? I was not looking for the truth. I was only looking for a reassurance. I was looking for reasons to support my decision. My decision had already been done. So this is what we tend to do. The human mind tends to look for reasons to support the decision that we have already made, isn't it? Sometimes buying dresses is the most common example that I can think of. Anything that anybody can relate with in this situation? When you've made a decision, you've thought about it, you've made a decision, and then you keep looking for excuses to support that decision.
Yeah, I think happens a lot of the time with children, as in buying something for our kids that is not justified.
Yes,
And getting out of the habit of going to gym.
yes, we enroll on impulse.
Yes.
That's right. And then we don't go there by supporting it with excuses like it's too
Yes.
cold today, right?
Precisely. That was my excuse for today. Tomorrow I'll think of something else.
That's correct, Toastmaster Diptendu. In fact, another decision that I think of is picking up the team mod role. When I picked up the team mod role this week, I wanted to know more about how to think better myself. And as soon as I nominated myself for the team mod role, I sent out the theme only to realize a moment later that I hadn't thought enough of whether I'll be able to do justice to the role or not. Right? So now that is how human mind thinks. We keep looking out for excuses and supporting reasons to for our decision that we've done. We'll move on to the fourth way in which human mind thinks. But before that, we have a table topic section. For the table topic section, I would like to invite Toastmaster Mehak onto the virtual podium.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, for giving such a nice examples about thoughts and our thought procedures. Moving ahead, I am the table topic master for the day. So I will give you some of the questions related to thought provinces and how our ideas and thoughts, the creative ideas. So the topic revolves around some of the interview questions that have been asked previously, but analyzes about the critical aspect and how do you answer that question when you are in that situation. It is a generalized topic and you have to give a reason and an explanation to that. How would you describe about on your thought process? Well, before that, I would like to explain that what a table topic session is about. Because a table topic segment is where you are required to give an impromptu speech for about 1 to 2 minutes, where 30 seconds would be given on the upper side, and you have to give a speech for about 1 minute to 1 minute to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, the green card will be shown. At 1 minute 30 seconds, yellow card will be shown, and at 2 minutes, red card will be displayed. 30 seconds is given on the upper side, so you can speak for about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. If you speak for beyond that, you will be disqualified. You will be given 30 seconds to think on the spot and the topic. So first, I would like to call upon stage an experienced member so that we can have an experienced member on the stage. So anyone who would like to volunteer for the topic? Okay, I can see Toastmaster Lokesh raising his hand. So, okay, Toastmaster Lokesh, the topic for you is rules are meant to be broken. Rules are meant to be broken. Toastmaster Lokesh, the stage is yours.
I have many examples, I would say, of stories, right starting from the school time. When a new rule comes in, and as a natural thought process, Deepti, this is what I told about you, that those thoughts are sometimes natural and sometimes they are actually built in with perception experiences. The first thing which you end a school when there's a new rule coming in and we don't like it, we find ways to break it. Or we actually get very happy if somebody breaks that rule. Maybe because of they could figure out something smarter than what we could do, or just a thought, oh yes, this is a standard line, this is a standard path. Now somebody has broken that path. So this is very natural for us to do that. Another example, when I was meeting one of my friends, he owns a hotel and he was sitting with some custom people in his office, and because I was his friend, so he didn't felt that he should not be having this meeting and not to be disrespectful to the people. Those officials were actually telling us how to bend rules and get away without being caught up when you import certain things, how to avoid taxes. So whenever there is a new law coming in from the government, there are certain smart people sitting in the government only, which will say, okay, how do we crack the code? How do we get away? The third example could be, which we legally we all do, especially the income taxpayers in any country. We don't pay genuine taxes. We will inflate expenses. We will do, or our chartered accountants are smart enough to find a way. There would be certain expenses which are eligible and certain not eligible. But hardly anyone in this world, not India, pays a genuine tax of what they've earned. So when you say rules are to be bent, it's a natural thought of a human being or even for an animal to find a way around, because rules are basically made to make sure that you're following them, a discipline. And it's difficult to be in discipline. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lokesh, for giving a wonderful take on the topic. You also shared your personal story. So around this topic only, this was a question, in a type of a question which was being asked. I have formed it in a generalized statement, which was that is rules meant to be broken? Because this is a question which was being asked in an organization. So to exemplify that, are you going to break the rules when are you going to join this company or an organization? So perfect take about on this topic, because they usually want around that to be revolved around the story, and they you perfectly take that. Next, I would like to invite on stage any guest who would like to take up a topic. Pooja, would you like to go ahead?
Sure. Sure,
Okay.
Mehak.
So the topic for you is, what's your favorite punctuation mark? What's your favorite punctuation mark? The stage is yours.
Let me take few seconds to
Yes, you have
think
30
about it.
seconds with you. You can think about it.
So, my favorite punctuation mark would be a question mark. And the reason behind it is that I am a bit curious person, and I would like to question every now and then to our elders, to the society, and to like everything around that. Why is this and why we do that? Why? What is the meaning of some ritual or some of that sort? This is why my favorite punctuation would be a question mark. I don't have a story behind it, but I could say that I question a lot. So that's it.
It seems like you are an inquisitive person who keeps on asking questions. Well, that's a great approach because asking questions is a good thing in itself. So, thank you so much for this wonderful take on the topic. Next, I would like to invite Toastmaster Anusha on the stage to take up a topic.
Yes.
So, the topic for you is if you are good at something, never do it for free. If you are good at something, never do it for free. The stage is yours, Toastmaster Anusha.
Speaking, the ability to get across to people. Speaking, the ability to teach people how to speak. Speaking, the most underpaid ability. Try going to the market and saying, I'll teach you how to communicate. And believe me, people will not be ready to shell out even a penny because all of us think that we, after all, are God's gift to gabblekind. We have the ability, we have the gift of the gab. So how come we're going to be taught something like this? So that is exactly what you've mentioned. The topic being that one is underpaid for things one is selling for free. If one is going ahead and giving something in largesse and saying that, I'm going to be helping you improvise on your abilities, it's something which will have no value. But the moment you start putting a price tag to it, that's the time people start to think it's something valuable. That's the time people start to think they want to get something out of it. But is that really true? I wouldn't say wholeheartedly, because I remember there was a teacher in a tribal village who I recently read about, who taught students for the price, tribal students, for the price of rupee 1 or a chocolate in return. And that person was given a governmental award as recognition for the efforts he had put in. So we can't always say that underpaid things are not valuable things. What we can say is that the general human psyche has the ability to value what they monetarily can return. If they are not able to put a ticket to it, they feel it's not really worth it. But that's not really true. One can flip it and see the other side of the coin and say that if you have the ability, if you have the talent, then the people who are the sunars, I can only think of the Hindi word sunars or the goldsmiths, they will be able to see your value and they'll be able to gauge you and they will be able to come forth and ask you to partage or share your abilities, as they say in French. Back to the table topics, master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anusha, for sharing such a wonderful insight about this topic. Well, sharing a little bit about this topic only. This topic was being asked again as an interview question only. It was being terminated as like, if you are good at something, never do it for free. Well, this was being asked to manipulate the mind of the interviewee that you have to interviewer, that he is supposed to answer in such a way that he would be exemplifying that his skills are meant for being in the company, that he will never do something for free because he has something in himself. So it was that in picturized, and Toastmaster Anusha, you correctly pointed out this topic in a right way. Well, next, anyone else who is going to come up? Okay, I see Toastmaster Diptendu raising his hand. Okay, so the topic for you is life feels very much like a test I didn't study for. Life feels very much like a test I didn't study for. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Life, as they say, is a test. Every day is a test because every day we are faced with new situations. Well, just imagine you have your first relationship and it does not succeed and it ends in a breakup. Through that breakup, you learn certain things about yourself. You learn certain things about handling relationships and how to conduct yourself in a relationship. Then you move on to the next relationship, which again fails, ends up in a breakup. Now tell me, any of you who have had two or more breakups, were you able to exactly apply the lessons of the first breakup in the second breakup? I'm sure that you would have tried your best to deal with the same lessons that you learned the first time, but then you would have fallen short. Because again, when you are faced with that situation, you have to come up with new ideas, new methods, new ways and means to deal with emotions, to deal with yourself, to deal with the entire thing. So life is really a test that you cannot prepare for, because the very nature of existence is change. At least the one thing that is going to change is you. You are not the same person that you were even yesterday. The cells in your body have changed. With experience, with the change in hormones, you might become more relaxed. So the things which were difficult to handle at the age of 20, you might find it easier to handle at the age of 40. Therefore, life is a test that you cannot prepare for, because at the age of 40, the challenges that life will throw at you will be much more different than what you have ever faced in your life. It's really important to keep working on your core, on your inner self, on your mental and emotional stability and strength, so that you are able to maintain a calm and balanced head as you tackle each and every test that life throws at you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Diptendu. It was a wonderful take on the topic once again. Next, anyone else who would like to take up a topic? Lovina, would you like to go ahead? Okay, I see some of the guests as well. Aditya, Pawan, if anyone else who would like to take up a topic. Lovina, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay, so the topic for you is good things always comes from good thinking. Good things always comes from good thinking. The stage is yours.
Okay, I'll just take few seconds to prepare. So recently, I was thinking about team event and planning that out for my teammates at my organization. So I was trying to create a gamified environment, and so I discussed with a couple of organizers around it, and we couldn't figure out how to go about it, and how to get that element of participation, excitement, and element of competition in the particular event. So I started, I started checking out the internet, and so there was a quite a build up happening in my mind around what not to do, what are the do's, what are the don'ts, and I there came a moment when I sat down and went to bed uh, somewhere late in the night, and the next morning I rose up, and just out of the blue, this idea came to me wherein I could give I could randomize few events and roll it out in the audience, and there could be they could attach that event to a corresponding cause which led to that impact and event. So that was like first 5 minutes of waking up, and I cracked it, and I presented, kind of like discussed it around with the organizers of the event, and everybody liked the idea. So I think the good things that we want to achieve, the good thought process we want to, the ideal thought process we always want to have, that comes in like very the first few hours of the day, when really the rest of the world is sleeping for you, and there is no adulteration in the environment and in the mind. I think that's my take on the topic. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lavina. And you correctly said that we can get a correct thought, or a thought process starts when we are at calm, we are at peace. So, excellent take on the topic. Next, anyone else who would like to take up a topic? Or I think we are also, we should move ahead, or let's call it a game. Let's start with the other session and move ahead. I think so. Timer, do we have time to take up one more topic, or otherwise let's stop here?
Hi, I think we can take up one more topic.
Okay. So if anyone else who would like to come up, I would request the guest Aditya or Pawan, if you would like to take up a topic, you can please come ahead. Otherwise, anyone else who would like to take up a topic? Ankan, would you like to give it a try?
Yeah.
Okay. So the topic for you is, do you complain too much, too little, or just the right amount? Do you complain too much, too little, or just the right amount? The stage is yours.
Okay. So I'll narrate a story of today morning itself. When I had to come to Chandigarh, so my train was around 7:40 a.m. to leave Shatabdi Express, and I think I woke up at 7 a.m. in the morning. So I just booked a ride to the New Delhi railway station, and it was around 7:15. So I had to reach railway station by 7:40 itself. Maximum half an hour was there. So I just asked that driver that if you could take me to railway station by that time, and he was like, "Sir, पहले निकलना था ना आपको." And I was like, हाँ लेट हो गया, but अब पहुंचा पाओगे या नहीं? मैं तो चला ही रहा हूँ ना, मैं तो चलाते ही रहूंगा. I was like, okay, fine. I just stopped there, but I asked him that you try your best. You see whether you could drop me railway station on time, and he did actually. He did drop me 1 minute earlier, and by the time I entered the railway station, train was already leaving. It was on the second platform, and I was on the first platform. I could see train leaving, and somehow I just thought that somehow this train could stop or something, because I missed it. Practically, I missed it. And then for some reason, train stopped on its own. I just became Usain Bolt and started running to because I had to cross a bridge to catch that train on the other platform. And I just kept on jumping over steps, and somehow I managed to cross the bridge as well. But then by that time, train started leaving again. I ran behind the train. I jumped over to enter the coach. It was just the last coach of the train, which I had. So whether I complain too much, too little, or just the right amount, I think it totally depends on the situation. If I would have lost my cool on the driver when he said "आपको पहले निकलना था," so I think he would have also panicked, or he would have tried his best to drop me on time. But I just maintained my calm there, and I said, "Okay, you try your best. You see what you can do." And he did manage to drop me there on time. So I think that's what I would say. So that's what from my end.
Thank you so much, Ankan. I think that was a very brilliant take, and I could see that you are getting ahead on that storytelling tip because you covered all the 4 aspects of the topic. So kudos to you. So I think let's move ahead and let's call this round over. So with this, I would be ending upon the note that these all topics were the topics that were related or being usually asked in the interview, not in the form that I have asked, but it was around that itself. So when you add a personal touch or a story in this topic, adding those 4 plots that I initially mentioned, you can get up and get a good deal in tech if you add some of the stories or some of the points and in some of the ideas such as. So I think all of you did a great job at this one because all of you added stories in your table topics. So with this, I would like to call over Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Deepti on stage.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehak, for conducting a very insightful table topic master session today. And the fact that these were real questions makes it all the more intriguing and interesting. So thank you and to all the participants who mustered up the courage to pick up a table topic and speak today. Well, that brings me to the last and the 4th way that I want to talk about in how the human mind thinks. And the 4th way is the way of overconfidence. Have you encountered people, or maybe you yourself, where you're very sure of the directions that you have to take to reach to a particular place, right? And you end up in the wrong way. Sometimes when there are times when you're confident of your sense of directions. I remember I had a friend who was so confident about her direction skills that after experiencing a couple of road journeys with her, every time she said that let's make a left turn here, we always made a right. So overconfidence is something which mars or which stops us from thinking clearly. A very common example, especially to working professionals here, we tend to be overconfident about the estimates of work we give, isn't it? We overpromise, thinking that we'll be able to complete a particular task in an estimated time, only to realize later that we underdelivered. We did not, or we estimated, or we thought that the estimate went wrong. So overconfidence is the 4th way in which human mind tends to think naturally, and it mars or it blocks or acts as a barrier to clear thinking. We'll do a summary in the next section. So it will be after the next section, which is the general evaluation section. And for this one, I'd like to call upon Toastmaster Diptendu on the virtual podium.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Deepti. We have arrived at the evaluation section of today's meeting, the GE's section. The very first part of the meeting was prepared speeches. And today we heard two wonderful speeches, one by Mehak and another by Toastmaster Lokesh. I would first of all request the speech evaluators to share their evaluation. I would call on stage Toastmaster Lokesh first, who evaluated Mehak's speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Diptendu. It's a great coincidence, but good for both of us. I had evaluated the same speech on 24 September 22 when she delivered this speech as a body language. Hence, I knew what improvements were needed in the same speech by the same speaker. Your start with help was a showstopper to catch attention, as before. The story of fire breaking out at home as real story was a very good strategy to relate to the audience. The mimicry of your family members, some of them humorous, kept the story enthralling. I noticed that her body language also improved well, especially the hand movements and pauses at the right time. While your speech was a perfect story to tell, I still felt that you can do better when your tone gets low. In higher pitch words, your tone was perfect. Another thing I will recommend you is to build a story to roll around the word of the day. Why I say this? Because it's a level 3 speech too, and somewhere it's an advanced stage of an amateur speaker. If you start practicing and adding impromptu sentence now and then, by the time you are through with your presentation mastery all levels, you will be an expert in quoting or adding quotes in your speech or statement while you're actually delivering a speech somewhere. I didn't realize my speaker or camera is off, okay? In the president's own thoughts on storytelling, your story had a structure of people, places, plots, but purpose was lacking. Secondly, delivering a story to an online audience without delivering in physical meeting is a substitute effort. Hence, I recommend the speaker to deliver the same speech in a hybrid meeting while present physically at the meeting, or visit a bigger club with bigger audience and get another good expert evaluator to study this. A great effort, of course, and a huge improvement from the last effort. As an experienced Toastmaster, I challenge Toastmaster Mehak to do it better and mesmerize the audience with a great storytelling. Thank you so much.
Wow, that was a beautiful evaluation, Toastmaster Lokesh. Clearly, you heard the entire speech very attentively and had crisp, insightful points to share with Toastmaster Meg, something that she can take back home and work upon in the future. So, a fantastic evaluation by Toastmaster Lokesh. Let's move on. The second speaker was, of course, Toastmaster Lokesh, and the speech was evaluated by Mohit. So, Toastmaster Mohit, the virtual stage is yours. Please share your evaluation.
Hello, Mom. I would love to come to attend the event, but sorry, I won't have the time. Well, that's something that I could relate with when Toastmaster Lokesh mentioned it to open his speech. A role play grabs the attention of the audience, and that's what Toastmaster Lokesh started his speech with. He has a beautiful art of being able to do a role play even in a virtual format. The second important thing is something that we all can once again relate with. If you all look behind you, just look behind you. If all of you will do that just for a moment, you will find that there's an elephant in the room. Toastmaster Diptendu wants to write every week, but he doesn't have the time. Toastmaster Lavina wants to complete her article on climate change. Again, she doesn't have the time. And that's the same with all of us, including me. Toastmaster Lokesh today touched upon the elephant in the room. He talked about something that we all deal with every single day, and yet we don't find the time to address the problem. Thank you, Toastmaster Lokesh, for doing that for all of us today. The audience engagement was another element that I loved about Toastmaster Lokesh's speech. He asked the audience to share their experiences, and he brought in audience engagement. Even though on that particular point, I have a suggestion for Toastmaster Lokesh. In a 5 to 7 minute speech, if you are doing audience engagement, you have to be careful because your time can go for a toss if you get a talkative speaker to talk in between. They can hijack your speech. So be careful and think about closed ended questions or think about having one question only for the audience. The second feedback that I have for you is that most of the time in the speech was spent in doing the build up, which was great. However, about 6 minutes of the 7 minutes was spent in doing the build up of why time is important or why we should address this problem. Even though the key message for all of us came in the last 1 minute of the speech, which was about persuading people to look at ways to prevent them from wasting time. You did cover prioritization, the why, and FOMO as three elements. However, my suggestion would be to focus and spend more time on those so that we can be persuaded even more. Overall, it was a great speech where you also included the word of the day. You talked about the elephant in the room, you engaged the audience, you did role plays. If you would include some of these suggestions, like ensuring that enough time is spent on the build up and also on the key message at the end, and if you could include perhaps some props as well, like a phone when you're doing the role play, that would take the speech to an even greater height. That's all. I wish you the best, Toastmaster Lokesh.
Thank you so
Back to you,
much, Toastmaster
Dipen.
Mohit. The hallmark of a good evaluation is that the evaluator provides areas of improvement and also ways to improve those particular areas. Mohit did that, so that was a job very well done as an evaluator. So both the evaluators have done a fantastic job as far as the speakers are concerned. For Mehak, my observation is that she has demonstrated exemplary command over English language because she was able to create a visual image of the entire situation that panned out at her home that night, of the fire and of how they were able to get out of that predicament. She was also able to convey the emotions that she felt to us, the audience, the feeling of dread, the smell of the wallpaper and the paint coming off, the feeling of getting out of it alive. So all those emotions she was able to convey. So Mehak, you have done a fantastic job with this speech. And as far as Toastmaster Lokesh is concerned, well, it is kind of a revelation for me because I turned off my camera when Lokesh started speaking. I was not looking at him while he was speaking, and to my surprise, I was still able to feel everything that he was saying, which means that Toastmaster Lokesh is able to emote through his voice very, very well. This is something I have realized only today about Toastmaster Lokesh. So, Lokesh, if you were not aware of it, I think this is a definite strength that you have the ability to emote with your voice and take the audience with you on a journey and make them feel whatever you want them to feel. You want them to feel excited, energetic, or you want them to feel serious about any topic. I think you can do it only with your voice. So that's a great strength to have. Please build upon it. All right, let us move on now to the auxiliary role players. We have timer Mohit. So Mohit, could you please share the timings of every speaker today?
Thank you, Toastmaster Diptendu. Certainly, I would do that. I'll start with the prepared speeches. Toastmaster Mehek, the time for her prepared speech was 6 minutes and 10 seconds. And for Toastmaster Lokesh, the time was 7 minutes and 30 seconds. You are very close to
Good.
the end mark, so you better be careful going forward. For table topic speakers, Toastmaster Lokesh finished his speech at 2 minutes 15 seconds. Potential Toastmaster Pooja, you finished your speech at 1 minute and 1 second. Toastmaster Anusha, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Toastmaster Diptendu, 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Toastmaster Lavina, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Again, very close to the end mark, so you have to be careful. And for evaluations, Toastmaster Lokesh spoke for 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And in my case, I think I was well within the time. I'm not sure if anybody else was able to capture the time for my evaluation.
You were
If
well
not,
within the time, Mohit.
okay, thank you, Toastmaster Dipendu. That's all I have for my report. I'll pass it back to you, Dipendu.
Well, thank you so much, Mohit. So, the time that each one of you took today delivering your speech and your table topics, please keep them in mind. And my recommendation to all the speakers is go for the red card. You have to speak at least until the red card, and only when you see the red card, start winding up your speech and start summarizing. That is my tip and recommendation to all of you. All right, then. Moving on to the next auxiliary role player, the grammarian. So, Lavina, I request you to share your report as the grammarian for today's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. So, the coming to the good usages of language, I think both the speakers' speech was filled with lot of instances like the smell of plaster and emotions, the way the emotions were portrayed for the stark situation that the speaker landed up in. Also, the way the emotions were visualized from the speech around the time management. That was also very up to the mark and very relatable. So yeah, coming there was a section where the speaker was mentioning that the evaluation section is very sacred for the Toastmaster call. So that I understand is first time I have come across such a usage of the word sacred in terms of glorifying a section of the Toastmaster call. Uh, Coming to the word of the day, kudos to Toastmaster Dipendu and Toastmaster Lokesh to be using the word of the day. That was not a regular word, but yeah, lot of as in thinking and thought process might have gone in if others would attempt to do that. Coming at the last to the bad usages, I think a couple of them I could find was when it was mentioned that I was entered the railway. So we can rephrase it and say when I entered the railway, and wherein it was mentioned excitement didn't lasted much. So we could rephrase and say excitement didn't last much. So a couple of others minor bad usages were there in the call, but can be improved upon and probably induced due to the short nature of the impromptu speaking and could be neglected for now. Yeah, that would be from my grammarian's report. Over to you, Toastmaster Deependu.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lavina. And yeah, at Toastmasters, we try to use positive words. So maybe bad usages can be replaced with avoiding certain types of usages or some alternatives that I would like to suggest. And let us move on with the R counters report. And now I'll be sharing the R counters report with you all. I observed that there were 2 to 3 R's in Mehek's speech today, not in the prepared speech, but otherwise. Moving on to Pooja, who is a guest with us today, I did observe there were a few R's in the table topics. Of course, it is the first time she's speaking at a Toastmasters gathering. But yeah, there were a few R's, which I'm sure would be ironed out as she continues to speak. With Lavina as well, I have observed a few R's as she was narrating her grammarian's report, something that she can think of completely eliminating, and that would be a challenge for her. So I hope she takes up this challenge. I also noticed multiple R's and short pauses with Toastmaster Deepti. Or rest of the speakers were very fluent. Lokesh, Mohit, Ankan, and everyone did largely very well. But yes, I have pointed out a few R's and ums which caught my attention and distracted me a little from and otherwise wonderful stage presence. All right, so we have done the prepared speech evaluations and the tag team role play and the tag team evaluations. Let us move on to the general evaluation of today's meeting. The Sergeant at Arms started the meeting very well. As always, he has publicized the club website and all the social media handles of the club. He has made it a routine, a habit, which is so good because right at the top of the meeting, if there are any guests who have joined the meeting, they immediately get to know about where to find information about our club. So it is a great PR exercise, and it is, in general, we talk about what's good about Toastmasters, and we certainly should talk about what's good about our club, which is our website and our social media handles. So that's a good practice. Thank you, Mohit, for introducing this good practice in our club. Moving on to the Toastmaster of the day, how to think better. This was a wonderful theme, a theme with which all of us can relate. After all of us want to have tools and methods so that we are able to think better in our own lives. So Deepthi added a lot of value with this particular theme. She had divided her speech, she had divided a Toastmasters theme into sections which were spread across: something before prepared speeches, something after, something before table topic, something after. So she had paced her entire presentation quite well. But what I observed that at certain places, the speech, the theme was lagging, it was loosening, and it wasn't tight. I don't know the reason for it. It could be lack of preparation, or it could be maybe she was trying to think on the fly. But whatever the reason may be, this was one of the observations, and I'm sure that Deepthi would not want this to happen in the future. But otherwise, it was a theme which helped us learn many little things, little ideas, which we could implement in our own life, in our own life, and think better. Moving on to the table topics master, Mehak played the role of a table topics master with perfection. The topics themselves were innovative and insightful. They were meaningful. Why? Because she had tied the entire table topic section to the word interview, that she has heard certain questions and phrases in interviews. So that added the extra zing and energy in the table topic section for me. Apart from that, she played the role of a host quite well, saying certain words after a speaker has spoken and just not letting any dead air exist as we were transitioning from one speaker to another. That is the hallmark of a great host, of a great table topics master. Mehak exemplified those things today. Also, she called out guests. She was very persistent with a call to the guests. That is again a fantastic thing that Toastmaster Mehak demonstrated today. So the table topics master and the Toastmaster of the day, you both get 2 thumbs up from me for a job well done. All in all, the meeting had a lot of takeaways, and we started just 6 minutes late. And more or less, everyone played their role to perfection, to the best of their abilities. I hope everyone has taken something away from today's meeting. And with this, I would like to conclude my general evaluators report and hand the stage back to Madam TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Diptendu, for a very detailed and an honest and genuine report today. We'll certainly take back feedback and work on it before we meet right here in the same place next week. So let's come back to the topic or the theme of the day today. Thinking basically helps us deal with everyday problems as they come our way. We are thinking so many thoughts in a day, which we counted in the beginning, right? So the point is that if you're conscious about the ways in which we think, and especially the ways which block our thinking, there's no doubt that we'll be good thinkers. And well, good thinkers make good choices. So to summarize, what are the ways in which human mind thinks, or the ways in which the thoughts of the human minds is blocked, okay, which is what we covered throughout our meeting today. Let's just summarize those 4 ways so that we are conscious, we are aware, and the next time we sit down to decide anything or we think about anything, we do not fall into the trap of these barriers. So way number 1 was narrow framing. So should I do this or that? Should I go here or there? Should I buy this or that? So we basically narrowing down our options. And we are spotlighting or highlighting only a single situation or an option at the cost of all other alternatives. If we talk about this or that, how about thinking or changing the question to something like, should I be doing this and that? Maybe we might just be able to achieve both, and we're not missing on alternate options. Maybe we need to go one level deeper and not only scratch the surface when we make a decision or when we think about a particular thought. So narrow framing, that's the first block that clouds our thinking. The second way in which we cloud our thinking is when we rely on emotions too much. So we need to be conscious about weighing our emotions, our gut, our instinct. Emotions can basically change the way we think and control our behavior. So which will obviously mean that the logic that we usually want to apply to our thought, it may be affected by emotions. So the suggestion here is to be emotionally conscious. And research has proven that the two modes, logical thinking and emotional thinking, are mutually exclusive. They are polar opposites. So if you let your emotions weigh too much, then your logical thinking closes down, which might not be a great way when you want to think through something and make a decision. So relying on emotions is way number 2. Okay, be wary about it. The third barrier of thinking clearly, or the third way in which we think and block our effective or good thinking, is when we fall into a bias trap. We want something to be true because we believe in it, and then we choose reasons to support it. We give it bolster reasons to support what we want to be true. You know, we have a tendency to seek or prefer information that supports our pre-existing beliefs. Maybe something like the smoking example that we gave, that we formed a bias that smoking causes slow death. The bias is that we still want to smoke. So we will find reasons to support it, even if it is as silly or as excusable as who wants to die fast. So that's the third way. That is to avoid falling into the trap of biases. And the fourth barrier that stops us from thinking clearly is overconfidence. Well, I like to put it as overconfidence thrills, but it kills. So do not fall into that trap of over-promising and under-delivering. Instead, under-promise and over-deliver. If you take care of these 4 barriers of thought process, I'm sure you'll be able to think clearly and become better at making decisions. With that, I'd like to hand over the virtual podium to our president, Toastmaster Mehak.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, for such inquisitive topic and for delivering such facts about thinking and our thinking cloud. So with this, first, I would launch the polls for, let's start with the best speaker. So the first speaker was Toastmaster Mehak and the second speaker was Toastmaster Lokesh. So I'm launching the polls for the best speaker first. So I've launched the polls. I hope you're able to see them. Please start voting. And the co-host can message me their votes. So I think I've got 6 votes right now. And So I think I've got all the votes because 2 of them are co-hosts. So I'm closing this poll now. Thank you so much, everyone. Next, I'm going for the best evaluator. So there were 2 evaluators. Evaluator 1 was Toastmaster Lokesh and evaluator 2 was Toastmaster Mohit. So I'm launching the poll for the best evaluator. Evaluator 1 is Toastmaster Lokesh and evaluator 2 is Toastmaster Mohit. Yes, I'm waiting for 2 more votes. 1 more vote now. Okay, so I've got the 6 votes. So I'm closing the poll now. Thank you so much, everyone. Now I'm launching it for the best auxiliary role player. There were 4 role players. Toastmaster Lovina played the role of grammarian. Toastmaster Mohit played the role of timer. And Toastmaster Diptendu played the role of our counter. There was no active listener, so you can leave that section. So I launched the polls. I again repeat, Toastmaster Lovina as grammarian, Toastmaster Mohit as timer, and Toastmaster Diptendu as our counter. Okay, so I've got all the votes now. I'm ending the poll. Now for the best role player. Toastmaster of the day is Toastmaster Deepti, Table Topic Master is Toastmaster Mehak, and General Evaluator is Toastmaster Diptendu. So I'm launching the polls for the best role player. Okay, so I have got all the 6 votes now. So I'm ending the poll for this one as well. And I would request the co-host to send me for the best role player.
Sent mine.
Now, last one for the best cable topic speaker. I would repeat for the best cable topic speaker. Any idea what was the sequence order? Because I have not written the sequence order.
Yeah, maybe the timer can speak it out.
Yeah, I'll do that. Just a moment. I'm like all over the place today. Sorry. Okay, we've got Toastmaster Lokesh, Toastmaster Pooja. Sorry, the guest we have today, Pooja, Anusha, Diptendu, Lavina, Ankan. Is there anyone I'm missing out?
I think everyone is done. I will just.
So we can go with this order, right? Lokesh, Pooja, Anusha, Diptendu, Lavina, and Ankan.
Okay. So I'm launching the polls for the best cable topic speaker as well. Speaker 1 is Toastmaster Lokesh. Speaker 2, guest Pooja. Speaker 3 was
Anusha.
Toastmaster Anusha. Speaker number 4 is Toastmaster Diptendu. And then speaker number 5 is Toastmaster Ankan.
And did we miss out Lavina?
Yeah.
This is really hard.
Looking for 2 more votes.
It's become very confusing, actually. Where is Lavina, Toastmaster Mehak?
Okay, can you just speak out the names? I'll write speaker 1 and 2 and then quickly type so that it's, or are we almost done with the polls?
You can, okay.
Yeah, I think we're almost done. We're just one vote left.
Okay. Maybe that's a self-improvement. We'll post the names on the chat next time around.
Yeah, so I'm ending the polls for this one as well. And the co-host, I would request you to send the vote for the best cable topic speaker. Okay, so I have all the votes with me this time. So starting with the best speaker. Okay, so any guesses for the best speaker?
Toastmaster Mahek.
Well, it is Toastmaster Lokesh. So round of an applause for Toastmaster Lokesh.
Congratulations, Lokesh.
Congratulations.
It's too cold to sit now in the room.
Next,
That's a nice thing you're wearing.
now for the best evaluator. There were 2 evaluators, Toastmaster Lokesh and Toastmaster Mohit. So any guesses for the best evaluator?
Toastmaster Lokesh.
I would say Mohit.
Well, you're
Mutual
absolutely
admiration.
right, Toastmaster Lokesh. It is Toastmaster Mohit. So round of an applause for congratulations. Next,
You.
moving ahead for the best auxiliary role player. Okay, so any guesses for the best auxiliary role player? We have 3 role players today. Toastmaster Lovina as the grammarian, Toastmaster Mohit as the timer, and Toastmaster Diptendu as the R counter.
Lavina.
Well, more guesses.
I think the R counter was very good today.
Yes, absolutely right, Toastmaster Dipti. It is the R counter, Toastmaster Diptendu. So round of an applause for Toastmaster Diptendu.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Diptendu.
Now for the best table topic speaker. Is so okay, for the best table topic speaker, I think we have a tie between the 2 speakers. Speaker number 1, which was Toastmaster Lokesh. So congratulations, Toastmaster Lokesh. And speaker number 3, which was Anusha. So congratulations, Toastmaster Anusha.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Anusha. I think she's not here now. Is she?
No.
Okay. So the last one, now for the best role player. So any guesses for the best role player?
G.
The thought leader.
Well, you all are
Demon.
correct. It is Toastmaster Diptendu as the general evaluator. So now
Yay.
Congratulations, Diptendu.
Congratulations.
congratulations, Toastmaster Diptendu. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone.
We have come to the end of the meeting now. Towards the end, I would like to make a small announcement that on 15th of January, around 11 a.m., we're going to have the table topic as well as the international speech contest at the area level. So start preparing, and if any member wants to take up a role for the contest, you are most welcome to, and you can message me if any role is left at the moment. I will just inform about it.
Is it physical or online?
It will be online. So with this, we have come to the end of the meeting, and I would request the guest to first tell me your feedback about the meeting. So I would request potential Toastmaster Pooja to come up on stage and give a feedback about the meeting.
I really enjoyed talking to you guys. And I would definitely like to join for the next meeting.
Thank you so much, Pooja. And we hope that you will join for the next meeting as well. So I think there are no more guests right now in the meeting left. So if you have any, I've stopped the recording right now. If the guests have any of the questions, you can ask to us.